My name is Amanda Magnuson. I'm the U.S. Director of Operations. Thanks so much for joining us for our Zoom update. Tonight you'll hear a brief update about our programs and then an interview with our psychologist, counselor, Cindy. Finally, we have dedicated the last 15 minutes to question and answer time. So feel free to use the chat function or the Q&A function at any point, and we'll get to those at the end of the meeting. One note is that per our child protection policy, we won't be using the names of any of the children or families as we talk about them this evening. If you do ask questions, we ask that you kind of follow that same pattern and not ask any specific questions about a specific child or family in your questions tonight. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. And also to sign up for our newsletter, which you can do at our website, www.childhope.org. Also, if you missed the last Zoom update, which we did in August, it's available on our YouTube channel. So go there and check that out. Please join me in a time of prayer to open our session together. Father God, thank you for bringing us together this evening. I pray that the technology works and we're able to clearly share our message with those listening in. We know that without you, none of this work in Haiti would be possible. Thank you for calling us into this. As we approach Thanksgiving, keep us safe as we travel, and for those of us whose plans are changed due to COVID, help us appreciate the many blessings that we have. In your name, amen. Hey, well, I'm gonna turn it over to Spencer at this point. Spencer?
Amen. Thanks, Amanda. If I could give you a round of applause, I would. You've been such a blessing to the ministry, Amanda, and all the work you put in for these calls. And I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Can everybody see me okay? I think so. I wanted to start off and just show appreciation for you guys. You guys continue to support the ministry. I see some names on this call tonight that I haven't talked to for a long time, and I just marvel at how God has used so many people in this ministry over the years. I think we're at 15, 16 years now that God's been at work through Child Hope in Haiti, and you guys have been a part of that. So welcome tonight. I wanted to go over a kind of a recap of our last meeting. For those of you that weren't with us on the last call, just kind of give you a broad scope of what we covered from that call, and it'll give you some context for the ministry of where we're going to right now, and what the work that we're doing right now. That photo slide that you see right there is of the United Nations Security Council. In December of last year, they voted a resolution to basically transition orphanages towards family-based care. And there's over, I don't know how many nations, I want to say almost 300 nations took part in this. And we are seeing that in Haiti right now, the global change that's taking place in countries. And we're seeing policies begin to change globally that have looked at the data, and they've determined, look, we need to change these models of care in these countries to get kids back into families so that they can have successful outcomes later in life. And we're seeing that in Haiti. The IBESR, the child protection in Haiti, changed their slogan, one family for every child. And it's been exciting to see. We also heard from Ketty, our social worker, last visit, and she shared her heart and what she's doing on the family reunification side. These are a couple of photos from her in the field, but she gets to go out with Modelin, our other social worker, and they trace family members. They find them, they build a family tree on paper, literally, and then they invite this family back to the table with these children, and we're just seeing God move in these relationships, and kids are being accepted home. They're being welcomed home, and we're thrilled about that. We also talked about family sponsorship. We launched our family sponsorship program, and some of you guys from that Zoom call stepped up and sewed into our family sponsorship. You know that we've been doing child sponsorship for years, but we presented this opportunity. It really is an opportunity to sow into families, and some of you guys responded, and we just say thank you for that. Those are first fruits in that. And those of you that were child sponsors and are saying, yes, we'd like to roll our support into family sponsorship, we want to say thank you for that, because that's helping us fuel the work as we move towards family-based care. So tonight, we wanted to cover a few items, give you guys a general update of what's happened over the last 3 months through each program. And I'd like to start, actually, before I do that, we have a slide here of the president. Go ahead, Amanda. I was gonna give just a Haiti update. This is President Jovenel Moise. We invite you to pray for this man. Right now, he is the sitting president without a government. And we are moving into an election cycle in Haiti. So 2021 will be an election year. His whole term, this 5 years, has really been contested, and there's been a lot of political unrest. It's driven a lot of the protests in country. I don't side one way or the other with him. I just know we're called to pray for him and pray for Haiti in this transition of leadership. And all of the forecasts are saying that 2021 is going to be a challenging year politically and economically in Haiti. There's been currency manipulation unfolding, drastic changes in the currency, which stresses the everyday person that just needs to buy food for the day. Prices are really high right now. So there's a lot of challenges in front of us, but I wanted to just give you an update on that front. And many of you have asked about COVID. How is COVID there? What are we seeing? I had my second trip last week to Haiti. I would love to give you all the numbers and statistics, but they're just not present in country. A majority of the people are moving forward with their lives. There's not a lot of emphasis on COVID day to day. Some of the demographic will continue to wear masks. I wore a mask all week as I interacted with staff and kids, as I should, being traveled. But I just wanted to give you that update. By God's grace, our staff and kids have been healthy. We haven't had any known cases of COVID, COVID-related cases. So we just want to pause and give glory to God in that. The kids are in school. The families are going about their day-to-day activities, and God continues to protect, and we're seeing that in the home. And so I want to thank the Lord for that. Moving forward, we wanted to give you an update on the ministry itself through the lens of the programs. And I'd like to start through the Family Hope program. Here are some pictures that you might recognize some of these faces, but these are some of the kids that have been reunified in the families. We have just completed 10 reunifications total, where we are continuing to monitor these kids and working with the families, identifying their needs. I can say that they are continuing to go to school. They are maintaining, sustaining. Some are evidence of thriving, and we continue to see progress in these kids, and we're excited about that. I wanted to share a story. This next family that will come up is one of, we've had 4 kids siblings in the home. And about 6 months ago, we located their mother. And I think I shared about this on the last call a little bit, but we have now rented a home for the year. And the oldest child is reunified with mom right now. He continues to go to the school that the siblings go to. And it's our hope that next month, the 3 additional siblings will be reunited with mom. And so this is a huge praise report. Specifically, one of the children in the home, I'd like to share a story because it really highlighted for me the development progress we get to see when kids start interacting with their families again. And with one of these children, when I arrived last week for work, I would typically describe this child as one that doesn't make eye contact with you when you speak to him. He tends to be on the fringe, and whenever we do a social have a social atmosphere with kids and stuff, you would always find him on the edge of this arena, withdrawing from the crowd because it didn't feel safe. This child has trauma in his background, and I would describe him as being shy and timid, and really uncomfortable around any type of conversation about himself. And last week when we were visiting Haiti, I just want to share this story because it's been such a blessing to me. But I pulled up into the driveway, and I was getting out of the vehicle, and I hear this voice, and it says, "Bonjour, Spencer." And I turn and look, and it's this child. And my jaw drops to the ground. I can't believe that he has just initiated a greeting to me. In 4 years working there, he has almost avoided me at all costs. But he greeted me, he looked me right in the eye, and he smiled, and there was this confidence in him. And I didn't know how to respond, but I said, "Bonjour, how are you?" and greeted him back. And I went right inside and walked into our psychologist's office. And I said, "Hey, give me an update on this child. What's going on?" And she proceeded to describe that he's made incredible progress over the last 6 months. He's begun to open up. He doesn't enjoy talking about his emotions, but he has been sharing and talking, and the trust is building with our counselor. And she just looked me in the eye and she said, "I really think it's because we've found his mom." And she's begun to visit, and we're moving towards reunification. And it really blessed me in the work. We don't get to see the fruit of all that every time, but I wanted to share that story because things do change in the children when we bring families back into the picture and we start facilitating that healing process. And it's been fun to watch. So I hope you're encouraged by that. We get to see that fruit. But another area of family hope that I want to share with you guys is a new development called transition support services. And this photo that you see up here is our social workers visiting an orphanage or a ministry out in Jeremy. They actually do quite a bit of ministry out there beyond the children's home. But the TSS department that we are launching, it's called Transition Support Services. And this is an opportunity for Child Hope to take what we've been learning over the last 4 years and sharing it with other organizations that are considering changing to family-based care. And this organization, I would call this a divine appointment. And we really got connected through another organization, but as we started talking, they got the vision. They knew it was the right thing to do. They'd already begun this process to some degree, and their board unanimously voted that they were going to take the courageous steps of changing their model of care into supporting kids back into their families. And it's been great to watch. We're developing a partnership with them. And I really feel that God's going to use this platform to encourage other ministries, other organizations with orphanages specifically. If you remember the numbers I shared on our last call, it's estimated 800 orphanages in Haiti and 35,000 kids within these homes. And the number that really sticks out, and I asked you guys to even say it out loud, that 80% of these kids have family members. We just need to facilitate the work back into these families. And so we're excited about the TSS department. I hope you guys follow that down the road. But we're seeing the fruit of that already. The second program that we continually do on a day in, day out basis is our Future Hope program. And this is really built around the graduates and supporting the graduates, but it's also continuing education. One of the things we wanted to make sure we did was give the children the opportunity to learn as far as they were capable of taking it. And through you guys even coming on this call and supporting us month in, month out through sponsorship, family sponsorship, it gives us the ability to continue that education year after year. And right now we've got 12 graduates. You can see the slide, 12 graduates. These are kids that are 18 that have left Child Hope over the last 5 or 6 years that are in independent living, or they're with their families. They are continuing to go to school, and we get to continue to sow into that. So that's been a blessing. We've recently had a handful of them return to us as well. They've kind of taken a year off to try a small business or to move around the country, but we're excited for the 2021 school year. It just started last week, as we had to finish making up the school year from last year, the first 2 months. But we're into that new school year, and we're excited to see these graduates. Some of them are going to trade schools. You can see the hotel and tourism, construction, restaurant, electrician and plumbing, and then some are just finishing their high school still. So that's our Future Hope update. We invite you to pray for Dimitri. He's our Future Hope manager. He's working with these kids on a day-to-day basis. And some of the grads, as you know, there can be challenges in their lives. They have influences from the world and temptation, but he's standing in the gap with them. He's pursuing them. He's ministering to them. They don't always like what he has to say, but they get to come back to him, and we are continuing that support. So, and then our last ministry is obviously the home MDL. We're down to 14 children, and this is the day-to-day activities of caring for them. All of our kids are back in school, which is a praise, and we're looking at almost 8 reunifications in December. So these numbers are going to go down. These are families that we've found that we've built relationships with. We've put in the time and the work, and these kids are ready for reunification. So again, we invite you to pray over these items. In addition to that, we're continuing the trauma-informed care, and that's kind of a good segue into this next piece. We're highlighting Cindy Morquette. She is our psychologist, and I was able to capture this video while I was there last week, but I want to give you a glimpse kind of into who she is and the work she's doing.
Hi, my name is Cindy Morquette, and I am the psychologist counselor at Child Hope International, and I love working with children. The reason that I chose to become a psychologist is because I feel like physical illnesses or problems are more evident and everybody can see them, whereas mental health issues or mental problems are not that evident. Somebody can be walking around having a problem and then nobody, even the people close to that person, are not even aware of that. So I feel like it was really important to study psychology so I can, help people like that, people going around with mental health issues or even just going to trauma or anything like that, so you can help them have a better life. And I especially like working with children because I feel like the earlier you catch the problem, the more chance you have of solving it and helping that person have a more fulfilled life. I feel like that the work that Child Hope International is doing is very important because it seeks to reunify kids with their families. A lot of research have shown that it is the best place for a child to grow is within his own family, within a family. And it is also my personal belief. Okay, so I feel like this work is really important. And then and also the fact that Child Hope is providing mental health for them is also very important because a lot of these kids and these families have gone through tremendous trauma and they do need mental support to get better. And also the separation process is and it's in itself a trauma, so it's really important to have mental health, mental guidance to help them ease that process and really make the transition a lot easier for them. Oh, what I like most about the work is overcoming challenges. I can tell you that the challenges are a lot because these kids, they don't have a secure attachment. They're not really trustful because they see a lot of people come and go, so they do not open up easily. So when you finally get them to open up, to trust you, and then to have them express better their emotion and you see their behaviors improving, oh, it's really heartwarming. So it feels great because you see that you are actually helping that child. So this is the best part this is the part that I like best about the work. So I thank you guys for listening to me and hearing about the work that I do here at Child Hope. I really love being here and I want to thank you, and I hope you continue to do the work that you're doing because it has a lot of kids, and I hope we can continue together in that direction.
Well, I hope you guys saw that as encouraging as I do. I mean, the time that she spends with kids one-on-one each week is great. A lot of those times are group therapy sessions where they get to interact, right brain, left brain, talk about their emotions, put words to their emotions, helping them process things within a group as well as individually. She's also been a huge impact to our staff, and spending time with them, and things come up through the week through family members or difficult situations, traumatic events, and she's been able to stand in the gap with our staff as well. Well, that's our update for today. I want to highlight a huge opportunity coming this month. It's actually the beginning of December. December 1st is our largest fundraiser of the year. Many of you have heard about Giving Tuesday, but it's actually a global day for generosity, and it kind of comes on the tail end of the Thanksgiving holidays and all the spending. But this is where Child Hope really gains an impact in their budget every year, and so we want to encourage you guys to put that on your calendar. We have secured a $25,000 matching grant this year, and so up to $25,000, every dollar donated up to $25,000 will be matched, and so we're excited about that. Our goal this year is to reach $60,000 in one day, and so we are inviting you guys to participate in that. Pray about it, whatever God puts on your heart, but just pray that God would feed and support the ministry into 2021. With that, Amanda, do you have anything to add to that? I think we're going to transition to question and answer time.
Thanks, Spencer. No, I think you said it all. One thing you did leave out, I love this about Cindy, is that she actually has a degree in dance. And if you know our kids at all, they love dancing. So we're really encouraging her to incorporate that into her time with the kids and help build rapport. But like Spencer said, we've got Giving Tuesday just around the corner. We'd love if you spread the word about that to other people that you know. It really helps fuel the ministry into 2021. And as you heard, we have these big plans to work with other orphanages, and we need some support for that. So hope that you'll join us for that. So far, I don't think I've received any questions. Please ask away. We'll try and get to all the questions tonight. Some questions that I got ahead of time from people who aren't on the call would just be about our graduates. I know you talked about Future Hope already and the support that we're giving to graduates through education, but there's some questions about, graduates reaching out on Facebook or whatever it is and saying, hey, can you help me? And just, what kind of advice can we give in those situations where, it's somebody that you've met in person, somebody that you've developed a relationship with, now they're coming asking for help. How can Child Hope be involved in that?
Yeah, this is a really important piece. We've had so many visitors over the years, just pouring into the kids and getting to know the kids, and the kids remember this as well, and they remember you guys. And when they get out on their own into independent living, a lot of them end up reaching back out to donors and supporters. And this is a time of almost their biggest growth period in their life. They really, they're learning how to live on their own, to make good decisions, to put in hard work in school. And it's really a period of growth. But a lot of times Amanda will field calls from donors who are getting phone calls from or messages from graduates that are reaching out to them in distress. And we really, we don't always have communication with the graduates. Some of them don't want communication after they leave. Some want a period of freedom and they want to do their own thing. And we bless and release them in that at 18 years old. Others sign up right into the graduate program. They're like, yeah, I want to be a part. Can you guys help me? And they're really open in that way. But when it comes to a donor receiving requests from a graduate, there's really two ways that I see you can help. Or there's many ways, but you can pray for them. You can encourage them. You can point them back to the ministry. You can, after you speak with them, you can call Amanda anytime and just say, hey, just heard from so-and-so. He's asking for this, or he's in need of this. Can we verify that need? And that would come right down to the ground in our Future Hope program. And Dimitri would be able to track down that graduate and see what's going on, assess the need, and really see if we can meet those needs. We will say that we operate with accountability. So we will hold them accountable. We will verify information and needs, and sometimes that's not always desired on their end. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. If you get approached by a donor, encourage the heck out of them, pray with them.
Get encouraged by a graduate. You said, yeah, just got words tied.
Oh yeah, encourage them and pray for them. But encourage them to go back to the Future Hope program, because that's where we can impact and pour in resources into their lives. This happened not too long ago in a situation where a girl was in a difficult situation, and we were able to connect her to the program. We had kind of lost contact with her, but we reconnected her to the program. We actually invited our social workers into it, and we were able to locate her mom. And now they have been reunified together and are living with each other. So it was it was a win-win. It can't come from a donor and pass that information on to us. We were unaware of it at the moment, and we were able to support them. So it's a great question.
And one thing I'll add to it is currently we don't have capacity for business development. So we're focusing on the education part of it. So that way we can really, like Spencer said, focus on the accountability. We're getting grade reports. We're taking the money directly to the school, so we know that it goes where where it's supposed to be going. Currently, we've had a couple of requests for starting a new business, selling this on the street or whatever it is. Those have been a little bit hard for us currently with our capacity. Maybe in the future there'll be capacity for that, but currently it is kind of we're helping with education. But please do hear us. We want to hear about crisis and things like that, and ways that there are immediate needs that we can help with. Those are things that we'd want to be aware of if you guys hear about them. I got a question from Angelo. He wanted to know how your trip was, how Haiti is, and if it's safe to travel down there now.
Yeah, Haiti is, Angelo, great to have you on the call too. We miss you a ton. He was a former board member, but Haiti, Angelo, was really, it was a joy to be back in country, to see staff, encourage them, and be with the kids and see the work firsthand. So I was really encouraged on that front. The country itself that week was pretty peaceful, and so that was a praise report as well. I believe it's still level 4. There's still gang activity throughout the country, throughout the city. And it's really politically charged. There's a lot of money changing hands, we keep hearing, that are having gangs do certain things against certain political parties, and creating havoc and terror through the city. And so we hunker down in our neighborhood, and we're listening to the radio every day, but Haiti is still pretty difficult. So
yeah, I appreciate that. Jen asked, what's going to happen to the house, the physical house, as we transition kids out? What's the plan? What's the next step? Are we, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but the house is rented. It's not, we don't own the property, but are we going to keep it? Are we going to let that lease go? What are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, great question. We're forecasting to it's our goal by June, at some point in 2021, but around June, mid-year, to have all of our children into families that we're supporting. And that would leave us with additional space. Most likely, we'll continue on in the same location. We're established in the neighborhood. We have great relationships within the neighborhood, and it's an opportunity for us to really build out the work we're doing for reunifications. Part of that TSS department that we're excited about is to train social workers. So we're considering some training platforms to either meet with organizations or social workers there, as well as just to gather with the families from time to time as needed, to bring them in to if we need to do any conflict resolution or coverage, additional support for the families, we can do that. So right now, I see us as remaining there for 2021, Lord willing.
Spencer, that's an important thing that you mentioned. And I know you talked about it when we were talking about future or Family Hope earlier in the meeting. But the aftercare is a huge component. We're getting these kids back in their families, but the 25, 30 kids that you guys know and love really well, we know and love them so much too, that we want to see this successfully, take shape, that the day that they go home is really just stage 2. It's not the end. It's not the closing the book. So we're going to have families that go through conflict. I mean, the honeymoon phase does end, and parents go, how am I supposed to raise a teenager again? and things like that. So we're bringing them back in. They're meeting with Cindy, who you got to hear from, and that's part of the reason we want to keep that property. So I just really appreciate. I just wanted to re-emphasize that because I think that's really important, that the work continues after the kids are reunified.
Yeah, and there's been discussions with the government. You know, we talked last time that there are 35,000 kids sitting in orphanages that have, you know, 80% of those have family, and we want to be doing reunifications as an organization. So whether kids come through the doors and get respite care while we're doing reunification, that's an option. But we've talked to Ibiza, and they have orphanages that they'd like to see close. So there's some discussions. They haven't solidified, but at the moment I feel like it's a multi-purpose space, and it's got so much history in that home, beautiful history, and yeah, so I see us keeping that as well.
We're love to get some more questions in here if anybody has some. I've got 2 comments that are just one from Butch, love the direction of the reunification process, and another from Jen, just awesome to hear about all the reunifications. The kids are thriving, and more reunifications in the near future. So I'm not sure if you see all those messages, Spencer, so sharing them with you.
I can't on my phone, so yeah.
So it's good to share those. Any other questions? We might wrap up a bit early here if we don't get any more questions coming through. Yeah.
Great.
Well, there's the awkward silence. I think we're probably done. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And let me just double check. Yeah, the goal is for us to do these quarterly. So look for this in the spring. Another announcement of just what we're up to, how things are progressing. If you did have a question that we didn't get, that you weren't able to ask tonight, feel free to email me, communications@childhope.org. We will answer your questions. I love getting questions, so please do that. And then we'll be sending a follow-up email with the recording. So if you missed anything, if you came in a little bit late, you can get the first half of it, or you can share it with anybody who wasn't on the call tonight that might be interested in the work. And then if you missed our last update, just a reminder that that is up on our YouTube channel. So please check that out. We interviewed Ketty, and that was great. And tonight we got to hear from Cindy. Our hope is to kind of meet with some of our staff. I know that most of the folks on the call don't know our staff. So one of our goals is to kind of introduce you and for you to get a feel for what's going on the ground with our leadership staff. That's pretty much it. Thanks again for meeting with us tonight. We wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you soon.